Welcome into another edition of the In the Money podcast for Saturday. Our first podcast looked at the 4 stakes races at Arlington for Arlington Million Day, but we also wanted to take a look at some other great racing that's going on, a couple of Grade 1s on each coast. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, of course, Director of Simulcasting out of Keeneland. We're going to start up at Saratoga. Their third race is the Grade 2 Lake Placid, and I took excellence here, adding Lasix off just a subpar effort on the holiday card at Belmont, but had a little bit of a wide trip, and I think could bounce back now that she's in Chad Brown's barn. Brown's also got Minaret in here, and you got Crown Queen, who's been very highly touted, so I'd use each of those in key excellence. So use her in exacta boxes with 4-5 and 4-6, but the pick's going to be excellence for me in the Lake Placid. Jim, what about you?
Again, a small field here. Minaret, I think, has the controlling speed from the outside, and I think Lescano takes over from Rosario, who's in Arlington, to ride the big races there. So I think Lescano guns Minaret to the lead, and she was very impressive in the Belmont Oaks, and I think she has a distinct speed advantage over these horses. My Miss Sophia's entered for main track only, so you only got 5 horses if it's run on the turf. So I think Minaret is probably a good bet, and I think would be a good single in the early pick 5 and pick 4 at Saratoga. Crown Queen would be my second choice. Belmont has a very improving horse, won by 4 last time out. Velasquez takes over again from Rosario, and lots of upside to this filly, but Minaret over Crown Queen for me.
The 10th race is the Grade 1 Alabama, and the question here for 3-year-old fillies going 1.25 miles is, can you beat Stop Charging Maria? What about it?
I don't think so. I think she was awfully good in the CCA Oaks on July 20th. I'm trying to find a chink in her armor, and the only thing I can see, it might be speed to her outside. She's gonna track the lead. She's not going to go to the lead, and Velasquez takes over from Castellano. Castellano again is probably at Arlington today. So Johnny V takes over for Pletcher. I think she's going to be the prohibitive choice. The one horse that I'm thinking is the 9-horse, Size, coming out of the Iowa Oaks, and she ran really well there to beat Ria Antonia. She comes back here on an upswing in her buyer figures. She did catch a sloppy track out there, so I don't know how that impacted her numbers. But if I were Alvarado, I would just take this horse right to the front and try to get the jump on Stop Charging Maria and just hope she can hang on for 1.25 miles. If Miss Bessalou doesn't run with her, she may have a shot. So the flow of the race, if Miss Bessalou goes out with the 9, I think Stop Charging Maria wins easily. But if they take Miss Bessalou back, might have a shot for the 9 to wire them. So maybe Size at a price, but if I were putting my real money on this, I would take Stop Charging Maria.
I'm going to go against Stop Charging Maria from a pedigree standpoint, just on the stretch out to 1.25 miles. I'm thinking maybe some of these can close the gap on her, the increased distance. The 2 horses I like, one is the other Pletcher, Got Lucky. I like that last race that preps for this, and then the other is Unbridled Forever for Dallas Stewart. And I'm going to take Unbridled Forever. I think I might get a little better price there. I think it's going to be her best distance. She has a nice race over the track, finished second to Stop Charging Maria. And I think just the distance angle, I'm going to take a shot with Unbridled Forever to run down Stop Charging Maria. So I'll use Size and Got Lucky and Exactas with Unbridled Forever also. But hopefully Unbridled Forever can get there for me in the Grade 1 Alabama. The 8th race out of Del Mar is the Grade 1 Del Mar Oaks. You got Sea Queen shipping out for Clement from the east. You got My Conquistador, who won the Alcibiades at Keeneland last fall and here. Stidham's got a couple of horses in there that have been Midwest-based. You got the West Coast. So it's an interesting mix of horses for the Del Mar Oaks. And I ended up taking My Conquistador, but the last was a good prep for this. She's in a horrible post that day, so much better post position here. And she looks so good at winning the Alcibiades that I think if she can get back to that form, she can take this. And then I'll use Diversey Harbor, Stellaris, and Sea Queen, maybe the Drysdale horse, the 9, maybe My Baby as well. Each of those with My Conquistador, but she's going to be the key horse for me in the Exactas and my win play for the Del Mar Oaks. How do you see it?
I think Sea Queen's going to be the favorite on the outside. And one thing that you can do, and a lot of times when you look at these horses shipping from the East Coast to West Coast, you're going to be able to see how Sequeen's race was. She lost to Minaret in the Belmont Oaks. And Minaret's running, as we covered, in the Lake Placid. So if Minaret blows away that field, you might up the chances of Sequeen. If Minaret doesn't run well, that might bode well for the other horses. I'm going to try to beat her with either My Conquistador or Istanford. Both of them exit the San Clemente, and I think both have a shot to run Sequeen down. My Conquistador is actually my favorite horse here. Don't know how she's turf and poly, so this is on the turf. She needed the last one, and I think she moves forward off that San Clemente. So My Conquistador with Istanford and Sequeen.
That's how we see it on the cards at Del Mar and Saratoga on Saturday. Don't forget to check out the other podcast on the Arlington Million Day races, and make sure to keep your Keeneland Select accounts fully funded. Anything special going on for simulcast patrons who come out to Keeneland?
On Saturday, the Arlington Million, we've got a craft beer tent out on the North Terrace. Hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day, and we'll have a nice crowd for Arlington Million Day. We always do, and it should be a nice place to come out for simulcasting, try some new beers, try your luck at Arlington, and also the races at Del Mar and Saratoga. You got great racing all day long. The Arlington Million card in particular is a very good card.
All right, enjoy the weekend of great racing, and we'll see you next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.